Easy enough to say. All right, are we good to go? Looks like we're on. Everything's good. I was having a little bit of issues in my last class. That's why I want to make sure that this is definitely going to post and that it actually in fact is live and that you have access to it. Yeah, my last one wasn't able to post for some reason. It was so crazy. So I'm just trying to be proactive. Anyway, let's get right into this. This is super, super beneficial. This is not high impact today. This is barely any impact at all. We're gonna do pre-stretch. We're gonna do post-stretch so that you can see the absolute changes for the better in your mobility of all your major muscle groups. Okay, let me just adjust the mic so you can hear me. Put up your comments if needed. So I did this workshop actually at the conference in the past, and it was just really a hit, and I've always done it throughout the years in different programs that I've taught and have incorporated into my classes regularly. And it serves to impress people. It makes a real believer, a believer out of you, and it makes me feel like you really believe me now too, because what I'm telling you is the truth. We have done a piece of this before in our classes, so you may be familiar with it, but nevertheless, we're going to go through all the different major muscle groups. We're going to see where we are and how tight they are and your flexibility from the start. And then we're going to incorporate a yoga flow and some foam rolling with pre-stretch, post-stretch, and then our yoga flow at the end so that you can really sense. Is it easier to move now that we've done what we've done, or do we feel any change at all, for the better or for the worse? Okay, so that is your objective for you to then just now start being very, very mindful as we go through this piece, what you're feeling, where it is, and how tense or tight it may be. All right, so let's start here. Stand up tall, relax your neck and your shoulders. Sweep the air up, 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 up. Baby back bend, relax your neck. And then just open up at your chest. Let that settle in. Hinge forward at your hips. And when you're here in a flat back stretch, where do you feel this the most is what I'm going to ask you. Where do you feel that? Do you feel that in your hamstrings, in your calves? Not sure where, just see what you feel. Then move into a forward fold and see what you feel and see how far down you go. Do your hands only go to your knees? Can they go down to your lower legs? How about the floor? Just see where you are there. That's the purpose. You're not trying to overstretch anything. Okay? And now go on from the forward fold and bring the leg that's closest to the back wall. Slide that back into a lunge. Make sure that your heel is right underneath of your knee. And then just put your back knee down on the floor. And then just see what you're feeling. Stay right there. Do not move. Yeah, so just do that for a second. Stay there. It's so important that you just see how, this is like just for assessment purposes. See how you feel and where are you feeling it is like the really big question here. Where are you feeling that? Mm-hmm. Stay there. Don't get antsy. Stay there. Do not get antsy. You're good. You're good. Stay there. Stay there. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. We're good. Okay. So now, it's important that you stay there, you guys. Right there. That's it. Right. Now bring yourself, transition back into a downward dog here. And then here we go with the legs. So now I'm pressing one heel at a time while I'm in a downward dog. One heel at a time. Hips hinge up to the sky. See what that feels like. Are you tight in your calves? Ears should be between the biceps. Press your hands into the floor. Work it out. Where are you feeling it? Your calves, the soles of your feet, your hamstrings, your low back, glutes. Where are you feeling this? Now go ahead, lift up the leg that's closest to your camera, and then sweep that leg forward. And here you are on the other side in a low lunge. Put your knee on the floor. Make sure your heel's right under this knee here. And just sit there for a second. Just see what you are feeling. Is that painful in any way? If there's any joint pain, no, that's not for me. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. All right, let's come out of that. And then we're going to transition. Let's try to get our back foot to the top. And then we land right here, like in a chair. Sweep the air up, tall stance. And let's go through that just one time. See if you can just add a breath. That'll be our little flow. And just don't rush through it, but just go through it with a breath for each movement. Ready? Inhale, exhale, down. Left foot back, low lunge. And then move into a downward dog. See what you're feeling in your downward dog. Lift your left leg, bring it forward. Now you're on the other side. See what that feels like. And then come up into a stand. And here we go. Inhale up. Okay, no problem. So right now, let's get our foam roller, and I just wanted to stretch out a little bit that way, see what that feels like. We'll go through it at the end. Okay, so right now, this is the little exercise we did the other day. Take one leg here, hinge back. You can hold the wall for balance. You're just hinging back. Notice what you feel and where it is that you feel it. Just simply sit right into that. See, you may be very limited in your range of motion. This is the target muscle group around here at the hip. So put your hand on it. Pay attention to that. Take your foam roller or your lacrosse ball or your tennis ball. Put it there. Now we got to get down to the floor. That's the muscle group. It's already on it. And we have to literally just sit on the foam roller on that muscle group, which is just your out, like the top part of your hip, the outer portion of your hip into your glutes. And so this leg, the bottom leg turns out. You need to kind of relax, right? So that turns out. Top foot is your anchor foot. And so you just push your body away using the top heel here. And there you go. That will be perceived as either pleasure or pain, depending on who you are and how tight you are and what your needs are. Okay, so it's just a rolling action. This is just for relaxation. I mean, if it's very intense, you use your upper body and you kind of support yourself there. Because the more weight that you press into the roller, the harder, the more it's going to be very, very intense, is what I should say. All right, so you're just going to just go with it. Just go with it. Totally letting this leg just completely fall out and loosen up. Relax up here. Remember, you get way too tense. All right, now you guys, we're getting back up. We are getting back up. I want you to take that leg that you just rolled. Do this again for your post stretch. Do you feel any difference at all? Anything at all? If you're not sure and you're not convinced, compare that with the other leg that you did not roll. Right? Usually that's the kicker. You just heard that crack altogether. See that? All right, good. Now we're going to roll this side. So you take whatever muscle group it is, put the roller there so you don't get confused. Bring it down to the floor. One side is always so much tighter than the other, it feels. Bottom leg rolls out. It's nice and relaxed. Wow, that side is so much tighter. Breathe through. Breathe, breathe through. Wow. Don't you feel that? Some people like to close their eyes and just, once you work your way into it, you're just really just not rushing through it. You're really just letting yourself have that time. Your breath, fuels it. It just kind of brings that oxygen to it. But again, you want to use your upper body if it's too intense so that you're pushing yourself up with your upper body and all that weight is not pressing into that roller. It's all just about maneuvering yourself into the right positions. And again, you just let that bottom leg just roll outward. And there we have it. So that will pretty much take care of that muscle group, which is really good getting into your glute. And that's going to help you move better because it's the muscles surrounding your hip. Okay, so now we're going to do a couple yoga poses as a pre-stretch purpose. If you don't have the foam roller or the lacrosse ball or the tennis ball, no problem. Just you're going to be holding the poses basically and get a really good decompressing stretch relaxation. So let's now move on to actually what can we do? Let's do a forward fold stretch first, and we'll focus here on the glutes, which is what we just did. We're going to get into the IT band, okay? And then we're going to get into hamstrings, calves, soles of the feet, quads, inner thigh, and upper back, rhomboids, traps, and lats. So we have a lot to do, and this is all right now just for, once again, pre-stretch purposes. Just see where you are. You might be able to sway side to side while you're in a forward fold and just see that. Just see where you are, see how you feel. Okay, then we're going to round up. I'm going to step one foot back into a warrior stance. Okay, just lining up the feet into that, that good old-fashioned warrior stance that we did. Now we're going to turn the hips and angle them so that they square forward. Make sure your feet are at a good distance and shoulders are away from your ears. From here, I'm going to lengthen. And then I'm just going to hinge forward. Do you feel your hamstrings stretch right there as you do that? You can pull your shoulder blades together, down and back. Breathe. So your spine is lifted. You're hinged over at your hip. You should feel this lengthening here in the back of your front leg, your hamstring. Then scoot your back foot forward some. Hinge back at your hip more. Can you feel that again? Then you could lift up your front toes. Now you may be able to feel that in your lower portion of your leg, that of your calf. Okay, so see what you're feeling most. And then we sometimes do these dynamic stretches, as you know, and it's just a hinge back. The spine is lifted, you're just hinged, sweeping the air. As you sweep it forward, that's when you really usually feel that stretch. So now I want you to come up, take a step forward, press your hips forward, and then just open up your chest, support your back. Can you feel the back leg? So now we're focusing on the hip flexor. It's the front portion of the back leg. And go on and take that back leg a step further back. Extend back at your spine. And you should really feel that lengthening action all through the front portion of your upper leg and hip. All right, now let's just simply pivot to the other side, setting up the warrior stance here, getting an idea on how this feels. So we line up our feet, square the hips off to the front leg, pull the shoulders down and back, hands come back. Spine stays lifted, just hinge. and you will stop at the right place where you feel that slight tugging or pull. And this is a reflection of the hamstring, which is the back of the front leg, back portion of the front leg, and just how tight that is. Okay? Take notice. Come back up. Your back foot scooches forward. Same thing. Square your hips, hinge forward, and this time you can bend your back knee, lift your front toes, and you get more of a lower leg stretch through the calf. And then we do that dynamic as you hinge, the front toes lift. You're reaching for, and you're getting a full leg stretch there. And then on the reversal, focus on the front portion of your hip and your upper leg. Scoot your back